Good evening and welcome to the 30 Day Mental Diet. I'm Pastor Jeffries. I'm the pastor of the Philadelphia Church of Universal Brotherhood, located on 530 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York. And we've been having a wonderful time for the last 29 days. This is day 29 of our 30 Day Mental Diet. And we'll be talking tonight about discover a new joy of living. Once again, we'll be studying from the book, The 30 Day Mental Diet by Willis Kennard. And he is a very well thought out author. He's a man that knows what he's talking about. He's a man that can put things together for us to remember, and he's been doing a fabulous job. We've benefited quite a bit from it, and today is day 29. We're one day away from the 30th day, and that 30th day is going to be tomorrow, where we're going to have the Passover service at 5:30 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York, corner of Nostrand Avenue. We're inviting you to come. All are invited, and it's going to be a great session, a very beautiful service, and we're always blessed. So, once again, we're going to begin with invoking the presence of the Holy Spirit to study with us. Father in heaven, we've come to you tonight once again, inviting you into this session. We know that your presence is always with us because where we are, you are, because you live and move in us and you have been sent to lead and guide us. We thank you for giving us knowledge, and we invite you in to not only give us knowledge but also to be with us as we enact and discover a new joy of living. Thank you. Now, although they say that best things in life are free, and you have discovered that there are some things money cannot buy, you also have found that nothing is really free. The universal coin of the realm with which you are dealing, the payments must be made, can only be made with thoughts and ideas. We have been studying now for 29 days, and I'm sure, get the gist that well, not only the gist, this is the truth, that we discover and we develop our lives according to our thought. Our dominant thought is what we produce, what we entertain, and what we see through our imaginations and the eyes of our mind is what we outpicture in our life. It's what is manifested in the real world. The universal coin of the realm which you are dealing with, the payments that must be made can only be made with thoughts and ideas. Whether it's a tangible or intangible good that you wish to experience, the first and final payments can only be made by payments in thought. Life is not a bed of roses. You need to remember that the life you live is not a continual bed of roses. There are problems to be met, difficulties to be overcome, things to be accomplished which require effort and sometimes sacrifice. But the joy that is to be gained in living is in properly meeting and mastering the inevitable vicissitudes of being alive. The difficulty that may confront you appears to be a necessary com- uh, complement of life so that you can grow. A necessary complement of life so you can go. In other words, everything is not going to be going smooth. You can't expect a bed of roses. Life is full of ups and downs. and you have to roll with the punches. It would be a boring life if everything went just calmly and good all the time. Life has peaks and it has valleys, and we must be ready to meet them when they come. To escape a bed of roses would be avoidance of living, an existence which could be devoid of all meaning. Uh, the road ahead. Before I move on, I want you to get the idea. I want you to understand that you can make it. Life throws at you a curveball, you can make it. You can catch it, you can roll with it, you can overcome it because you are not alone and you have the abilities that can really accomplish anything that life throws at you. So don't uh, panic and don't come off the rails if something happens that seems to be traumatic. Then deal with it. You take it in stride. You understand that you have the capability of overcoming anything. I want you to discover this new joy of living. And the joy of living is to understand that you're not alone and you're well equipped to deal with anything that life throws at you. God would not give you more than you can handle. And for every problem, there is a solution. Now, let's go on with the road ahead. The road that you will travel through life is paved for you by the thoughts that you maintain today. That's great. And it's very true. I want to say that again. The road that you will travel through life is paved for you by the thoughts that you maintain today. Whether the road is smooth or rough depends on the harmonious or inharmonious, the constructive or destructive nature of your consistently maintained pattern of thinking. To have a better tomorrow depends first on mentally establishing it today. How can I put this in a way that you don't forget? You must remember that uh, you were created to conquer. You are a conqueror. In Christ, we conquer, and faith is the victory. I want you to have the faith and the conviction that you are able to do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You must expect to have a better tomorrow, and you must remember that it depends first on mentally establishing your tomorrow today by the pattern of your thinking. Let's go back to the book. In the beginning, every moment of your life is a new beginning. You cannot afford to wait until tomorrow to do that which you need to do today. Don't procrastinate. Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. The more you accomplish, the better you feel. After you put in a full work, a full day of consciously policing your thoughts and forcing yourself and I should say disciplining yourself to only think productive thoughts, to only think positive thoughts, to only see that which you want to outpicture, that which you want to manifest in your life. You can train yourself to do this. You have to be consistent. You have to do it with all your heart and soul. You have to be uh, dedicated to it, but it can be done. Every idea you have, every thought you think, is in some way an initial positive factor which determines your experience. Willis Kennard says, let me read that again. Every idea you have, every thought you think, in some way is an initial positive factor which determines your experience. As long as you delay creating a mental concept of good you desire, it is impossible for it to become part of your life. If you want to start enjoying life more, the only time you can start is now. Now is the appointed time. The more the more will never come, right? Your experience until you start to do something about it. The more you want in life is what depends on when you do it. If you want to accomplish more, start now. The more will never become your experience until you start to do something about it. The next page we're going to is we're going to be talking about the great experiment. The great experiment. You guide your footsteps through life by your ability to think and imagine. You are faced with a continual challenge of so using your mind that it may contribute to you joy of living rather than deprive you of it. I want to read that again. You are faced with the continual challenge of so using your mind that it may contribute to you your joy of living rather than deprive you of it. Your mind is your great laboratory. Huh? And in your laboratory, wherein you may try experience. Life is your laboratory wherein you may try experience after experiment with definite results coming from each undertaking. That's an interesting concept. Your life is your laboratory wherein you try experiment after experiment with definite results coming from each undertaking. So life is an experiment, but you're in charge. Don't be afraid to experiment. You can overcome anything that you're faced with. You alone determine what it is that you want to do there, and you cannot escape the consequences of what you do. Every thought you have, every experiment you undertake can result in something beneficial going forth in into creation in your experience. So think good thoughts and you know that you're going to have good outcome because every thought you have and every experiment you undertake can result in something beneficial if your thoughts are right, if your thoughts are beneficial, if your thoughts are productive, going forth into creation, into your experience. If these thoughts create your experience later, so what you put in is what you get out. That's what Willis Kennard is getting at here. And we need to understand that and understand that that is a way of life. Achievement. Once you embark on such a process of using your thought in a beneficial way, you will discover that doing, you will discover that what you are doing is not of your own doing. I want to read that again because I want you to get it and I want you to understand this. It says, once you embark on such a process of using your thought in a beneficial way, you will discover that what you are doing is not of your own doing. but is rather the opening up of a greater channel for the fulfillment of the action and purpose of life in and through you. Now, life is capitalized, and I like to point this out because life here, when he capitalizes it, talks about the the God. That's who it is. Life is capitalized, and it speaks of God or the all-knowing mind of God or the omniscient mind of God. That is what life is, and it is living through you. You are letting life be itself as your life rather than attempting to stand alone and apart from it, apart from life. You open up and you embrace life and you let the mind of God course through your mind. And your mind is a tributary to the mind of God. So you exchange wisdom and knowledge and thoughts of the mind of God. And you should expect this, you should practice it, you should ask life to help you experience life in the fullness of who He is to you. You may progress in a small steps or take great leaps, but once you have learned to walk in this direction, you will ever move, you will find every move will open up for you wider horizons of living. I want to read that again. You may progress in small steps or great leaps, but once you have learned to walk in this direction, you will find every move will open up for you wide horizons of living. So don't be afraid and go forward. Unlimited funds. You have unlimited funds at your disposal for the purchase of all the good your heart desires. In other words, the world and the universe are bountiful and they're full of everything that you need. You think big and you receive big, and there are unlimited. You have unlimited thoughts because there are no limitations on your mind. There is no limit to the ideas or the thoughts that you can uh, embody. The funds are thoughts. Huh? The funds are thought. You have unlimited funds at your disposal for the purchase of all the good your heart desires. The funds are thoughts, causative, creative thoughts in your mind. And that's big because Willis Kennard is saying here that you have unlimited funds, and the funds are thoughts, creative causes in your mind. There is no limit to the extent to which you may spend such funds, nor the manner in which you may spend them. In other words, you're free to think. You can think myriads of thoughts. There's no limitation on your thoughts. You can think big thoughts. You can think challenging thoughts and know that you are going to manifest these thoughts. Because once you start practicing this, it becomes a way of life. Okay? However, you are always using them to buy something in your experience. What you purchase is up to you, but it is more joyous experience in living than you desire. What you purchase is up to you, but if you want a more joyous experience in living that you desire, be sure that the coins you use, the thought you maintain, are the right ones for you. Let's stop there for a minute. think about it. He's saying that our thoughts are funds. Funds are thoughts, and what you purchase is up to you. But if it is a more joyous experience in living that we're after, we have to be careful because the coins you use, the thought you maintain, are the right ones. You have to make sure that they are the right ones, for you cannot avoid receiving back that which is like them. The thoughts that you have, the thoughts that you spend, you're going to receive back the manifestation like the thought. So if you think of good thought, you're going to get a good manifestation. If you think thoughts of poverty, you're going to get back the manifestation of poverty. But if you think abundance, and you think health, and you think joy, and you think victory, and you think success, those are the things that are going to be out pictures. Those are the things that you're going to receive back because those funds are thoughts, and the funds you are thinking are good funds, good thoughts, and you're going to receive them back. All right? Refuse to be discouraged. At first, if you don't succeed, try again. May well apply at this point. Never give up. Always go forward. Never give up. Always push forward and never stop trying. If you fall down, get up and try it again. You may find yourself seemingly defeated at every attempt to better your life. But you must remember that every idea of merit that you entertain adds to the sum total of the concept of good you want manifested in your experience. So every endeavor, every attempt to live a full, rich life is adds to your bank. You might find yourself defeated at every attempt, but the fact that you try, the fact that you put forth the effort and you're not giving up, when you try again, it's going to add to what you did the last time. You must remember that every idea of merit that you entertain adds to the sum total of the concept of good. Because you try, it's going to add to the concept of good, the sum total of good that you want manifested in your experience. So don't be afraid to keep trying, because you keep adding up, it keeps building up, and you become stronger because you are determined. So keep at your endeavor, and you will build up a balance in your favor so that a favorable outcome is inevitable. I like that. Let's read that again. It said, keep at your endeavor no matter what happens, even if it seems like you're not accomplishing or you are starting to feel discouraged. Pick yourself up, encourage yourself. David in the Bible, a lot of times he used to speak to the omniscient mind of God. He used to have conversation and a talking relationship with God. And he had to encourage himself because he became disenchanted and he became discouraged and disquieted, but he never gave up. He kept on pushing. And Willis Kennard in his book here is saying, keep your endeavors, keep at it. Keep at your endeavor and you will build up a balance in your favor because remember, your thoughts and your attempts are currency. And the more you use them, you're going to build up a favorable balance in your favor so that a favorable outcome is inevitable. And I want you to Remember that. I want you to live your life that way and have great expectations for a good outcome. Now, science also chimes in on this, and philosophy and religion write a little excerpts concerning this that are included in the book, and we go over them every night. Science says the power and the will of the human mind is but a symptom of reality. The power and the will of the human mind is but a symptom of reality that we, when we are most human, most rational, most aware of love and beauty, reflect and represent the spirit of the universe. That's pretty good. I want to read that one more time. The power and the will of the human will is but a symptom of reality that we, when we are most human, most rational, most aware of love and beauty, reflect and represent the spirit of the universe. That's N.J. Burrell. Philosophy. There is something in each of us that merges with the infinite and draws back into its own soul, mind, and experience as much of God as it can comprehend. That is very deep. That's Ernest Holmes, a philosopher. I want to read that again. There is something in each of us that merges with the infinite, merges with God, and draws back into its own soul, mind, and experience as much of God as it comprehends, as it can comprehend. That's your soul, your spirit pulling from the infinite mind, the infinite spirit of God, and it's your mind pulling from the spirit of God as much as your mind can fathom, as much as your mind can take. So think big and draw big from that infinite mind. That's what Ernest Holmes says in that piece, in that excerpt. Religion. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, and gentleness, goodness, faith. Against such there is no law. Now, we're going to read the diet tonight, and I want you to read along with me on this diet. It's very good, and we're going to again read in the first person. So let's begin. In all ways, in my acts, emotions, and thoughts, I more fully express the joyous nature of life that is at the center of my being. Joyous living now becomes my experience as I accept it as necessary and fundamental to life that is a reflection of its divine source. I progress up the highway of life, idea by idea, experience by experience, and I pave my way only with those ideas which embody my greatest possible good. Regardless of how rough or discouraging the way may seem today, I know that tomorrow will be better because of the thoughts I establish today. I face life and living with joy in my heart, with enthusiasm in my mind, knowing that there is that within me which can and does express itself through me in such a way that I continually grow, achieve, and mature into a better likeness of the source which created me. I no longer delay or hinder my fuller enjoyment of living, but start now to establish it idea by idea, knowing that as each beneficial and constructive idea is established in my mind, It builds up to a point where, though through the action of spiritual law, it inevitably manifests as my experience. Joy, satisfaction, and continual achievement fills my life as a result of my knowing that God is an active partner with me in all my ways. It's good to know that God is your partner in all your ways, and that you no longer delay or hinder your fuller enjoyment of living, and that you start to establish idea by idea, understanding and knowing that each beneficial and constructive idea is established in your mind. My thing is to you go forward and think big and expect big things and purchase life with your thoughts. God bless you. Have a good evening. And the last lesson will be lesson 30, and we're going to celebrate our Passover tomorrow night, 5:30 Eastern Parkway, Brooklyn, New York. Don't come alone. Bring family members or friends with you, and get ready to celebrate Jesus, our Passover. We hope to see you there. Until then, good night, and see you next time.